for me of my lock-in, my lockdown. I hope everyone is doing well and coping. Let me just see, I need to find my chat feature so I can see if any of you have joined me. And my tablet is stuck in tablet mode. Great. Here we are. We got it. Right, let's go into Rebrandly chat and see who's with me, because the chat has logged out. They've been having some problems. I didn't get chat at all yesterday. And so I need to reset that. But we'll see who's in with us this morning. Say hi if you are. Let me put on some fancy lights. Not that it makes a difference at this time of the day, because the windows and the sunshine. But there we are. A little bit of blue behind me. That will spin out. Aesthetics. I like it. And so today we're going to be doing more. We're sticking with renewable energy. So far we've done hydropower, and that stream was titled correctly. Wind power, which was fantastic, and we had all sorts of things like civil unrest when the citizens couldn't access power and so on, but it was fantastic. We showed how to do that with coding and also redstone, but it was mistitled in the live stream, so it looked as if it was still hydropower, and it wasn't. Today we have biomass. We want to explore what biomass is, how it works, and how we can use it in Minecraft. So let's begin. Let's just kick straight into it and click on play. We're going to start a new world for this, and then we're just going to do this together as always. Always name your worlds. Creative, because we want to create a world. Peaceful, because we don't want mobs. This doesn't matter at this point because the permission level means that no one's going to be in with us. Let's do infinite, because I want to show you what is... Infinite's important in terms of what goes into a biomass feeder. We don't need to worry about a seed. Show coordinates for good practice. I always yawn when I say that. I think that's like Pavlov. I think I yawned once when I said show coordinates, and now it just happens all the time. Used to do that when I worked in a call center years and years and years ago. Like, feels like 3 decades ago. And I worked in a call center, and there would always be one line when somebody called. There was one line that would trigger a deep yawn. And so I had to change the way I said it, because otherwise I'd yawn on the phone with a client. Code builder, we're going to keep on. Yes, we are. And then always day. I've got an idea for code builder at the end. I like to throw in little code pieces at the end. Hi, good morning, Jake. Great to see you again. Hope you're being good for your mom. Always day. Show classroom settings, perfect weather. Ooh. And hi, Clubbed Bloom. Welcome to our live stream. You're coming in from Mixer. What did I do? That was me getting distracted. Let's do that again. Biomass, getting distracted with the chat. Keep chatting to me though. I like distractions. Show coordinates for good practice. Always day. And learning like a boss loves it when I do code. Immutable, no, not immutable world, perfect weather, and that'll do. Let's click play. Ooh, right, that should be us. Everything we're doing now should work in this world. And we are going to explore biomass. So the first question is, what is biomass when we're talking to our kids about renewable energies? And biomass is energy that comes from the basically biodegradable things. So if we look around Minecraft, my first exercise with kids as part of this lesson is, what is it in the natural environment that we can use for biomass? And one of the first things, of course, is that to consider is what we have lying around. So we have grass, and if we destroy enough grass, we eventually get seeds. I don't think it's going to do it in creative mode, but if we were in survival mode, in fact, let's see if that works. Great, Mum's watching, Jake, but it's you that's chatting to me. Good. So as we go round here, we should, as we get rid of this grass, we should eventually pick up seeds. There we are. So we've now got a set of seeds. So things like destroying the grass around us gives us biomass stuff. Let's go back to game mode 1. We've also got things like trees. Can we burn wood? wood chips, maybe, I think, in the real world. Can we burn leaves? So here we've got some oak logs and we've got some oak leaves. What else could we burn? Let's try and see if we can burn some flowers. I'm just going to collect corn flour. Let's collect a few of them, actually. Let's, well, actually, I'll just give myself more later. Give myself some of these. I just want to test. We're just going to do a test and see what is biomass. Let's get ourselves some of these leaves and some of this wood, because that's different. Spruce. Another type of flower. Let's see. What else do we think is down here? We can look later. We can get ourselves some crops and things and have a look later. Let's see if we can find a village though first. Well, I like to find a village and base my work around villages. So we'll do a little fly around, see if we can find a village to start it in. There we are. There's one over there. Yay, there's always a village. Bonjour, Stéphane Cloat. I hope you and your family are very well and very happy and healthy. And I hope that you managed to log into Steam this morning. Apologies that it's set up to go to my email address. We can fix that later. I think you're gonna get way more use out of it, so we'll swap the email addresses over. Okay, so let's just build our little experiment down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, and we need somewhere to put this. And actually, if this place has a farm, we'll see this. There we are. So we can see this in action. So when these villagers are collecting their crops, they're putting something in here. And this, whoops, is a composter. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my composter just down by this house. And when we look inside, remember yesterday, yesterday morning when we were doing hydropower, we looked at cauldrons. And in fact, I'll just get you a cauldron just now. And we'll pop in, I'll come back and get those flowers later. And then what we're going to do is get ourselves some water. Now with water, if we fill up the cauldron, you'll see that it's now full. If I get an empty bucket, I keep doing that. I never quite empty the, what am I doing? We just need a bucket, not an empty bucket. We can scoop the water back out and it makes it hollow again, okay? And so a composter works roughly the same. So what we can do is we can put stuff in it. So let's try. Let's see what can go in it. Hey, little guy. He's like, oh, composter. You come to put something in it? No. No. Be on your way. Go on. I can't even get rid of him. Go on. Get out of here. Go, 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 go. Get out of here. Okay. So now what we can do is we can put something in there. So let's try some seeds. And you'll see this green sparkle starts to appear. And now we have what looks like, and I'm just going to go and get myself some podzol. Podzol is a type of block that we can place. It looks like that. And what we've now got is a podzol effect in the bottom. We can't put podzol in. Can we put wood in? No, we can't put wood in. But we can certainly put more seeds in. In fact, I'll just fill this one up with seeds. And you can see if once that goes away, it's actually getting higher. So the line is now here. The line is now here. And it's now full. And then what happens is this stuff appears, this sort of lighter stuff appears on top. And when I right click on that, it disappears and it turns into bone meal. And bone meal, as we've already explored, here's the bone meal here. Bone meals, as we've explored, is used for growing crops. So suddenly I grew those carrots using bone meal. And so what we're looking at is we're looking at a system of being able to grow piles of rubbish, piles of biomass. So let's just do that again. Let's just fill it all the way up. Just using seeds for the moment. We're going to do an experiment afterwards. And then we leave it. And then when we right click, we get more of that. And then we can take it and we can grow more crops really quickly. Doing you a favor, fella. This guy is fascinated with my thing here. Right, so Stéphane Cloat is saying that Paul uses compost to build automated potato farms, right? so we can automate them. But for the moment, what I want to do is I want to use them for power. But what I want to do is just, I'm going to like get out of here. Sorry, I had to. Off you go. He's away. Don't come back. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fence myself in. This is what I have to do these days. My neighbours are just unreasonable. There he is again. Look, get out of here. So for the purposes of my little experiment, I'm going to fence myself in away from the neighbours. Right, goodbye. Okay, so let's have a little experiment. Can we put oak leaves in here? Yes, we can. And we can fill it up with oak leaves. I wonder if we can fill it up with a mix. Yep, so we could put oak leaves and seeds until we get what we want. And we could just leave it there, or we could take it out. What about flowers? Yep. Rose bushes? Yep. Spruce leaves? Aha. What else do we think? Let's go in and see if we can fill it up with sugar canes. Let's see if we can get anything organic. Eggs for eggshells. I know that when I had a compost heap in my garden, we used to put eggshells in it and they would break down. What else? What else? Sugar? That's probably wrong, but we'll try it. What about rotten flesh? I doubt it. Bamboo. Surely bamboo works. Dead bushes? Maybe if you're in the desert. Lily pads and vines. Let's try all of these things. These all look organic to me, right? So we know that seeds work. What about sugar canes? Yes. Eggs? No. Eggs just... Oh, eventually give you a chicken. Come on, give me a chicken. There we go, there's one there. We'll eventually get a chicken. So eggs, hey, what on earth? Where did he come from? Hey, little guy. Right, I've had enough. Oh, I know where he came from. That was me being an idiot. Look, get out of here. Right, off you go. No, there's a hole in the fence. Yes. He came from there. He climbed up this. Oops. He climbed up the stairs and then he went over the fence. Brilliant. Okay, so what can we now do? Can we put sugar in? No. Rotten flesh? No. Bamboo? No, bamboo doesn't work. There's probably a reason for that. Dead bush doesn't work. Lily pads do, and vines do. So let's eliminate what doesn't go in. Sugar canes do, bamboo doesn't, dead bush doesn't, lily pads does, vines does. What else did we say did? Oh, let's try some of these. The ferns, large ferns, grasses, and tall grasses. Let's try those. So ferns, let's get rid of that first. Ferns do, large ferns do, grass does, and tall grass does. Perfect. So we've got loads of bio stuff that we can put in here that becomes compostable. And if we explore the science of this, it's quite complex. The idea, of course, being that we can create basically the smallest things in our natural habitat are what feed the largest things. And so by breaking stuff down into its smallest, we can create a system within which the small waste components of our society can then create larger systems of energy. And the way that generally works with a biodiversity system is you might start with the plankton, which then serves the fish, and the fish then serve the mammals, and the mammals then serve the apex predators, and the apex predators, and so on. And it kind of goes up from there. And so you have billions of plankton, then you have millions of fish, then you have a few million mammals, and then you have just a few hundred apex predators. And so it becomes a pyramid almost. And we can do that. We can kind of look at that with coloured wool. So actually, let's do, I'm actually going to do concrete just to give you the, so there we go. So let's the planktons, and then we'll choose blue for the fish, and then we'll choose, and it's not quite fish, it says so there's gaps in between, but you can go and have a look at this properly. We would obviously do this. Then we're going to choose green for the mammals, and then we're going to, let's get a nice light green for the mammals, and then we're going to choose red for the apex predators. And so what you would end up with is you would end up with, let's just say this was, each one of these was 100,000. So 10, 10 would be a million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did it, right. And then what you would end up with is you would end up with maybe 500,000 fish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which would eat off that plankton. 600,000 fish that would eat off that plankton. And then you would end up with maybe just, say, 200,000 mammals. And of those mammals, sitting at the top would be the apex predators that would feed off those mammals. And so in order for this, and this is the key point, in order for the apex predators, and actually at the top of the apex predators probably sits, let's do pink for this one, are human beings. All right. In fact, let's do yellow for prime. Boom, there we go. There's our primes. And so in that case then, let me just do something like this. There we go. Just to give you an idea of where human beings fit into that kind of stream. So we have this, but here's the thing, this is what's key. In order for us to survive, this is vital. Because if we take away this, everything collapses. And if we take away this, everything collapses. And if we take away these, then it's just an apex predators. And then that's it, right? And so that's really important to recognize, that energy systems, therefore, can come from the smallest. So if we think about that from a fossil fuel formation point of view, over 400 million years, dead plankton, plankton that died and fell into the bottom of the sea and then got piled upon by these four conditions, the dampness, the pressure, the weight, and the heat of the processes, the earth processes, we end up with oil. Dead trees, they fall down, they turn into coal over hundreds of millions of years, and we end up with coal. And so it was these massive systems that died and gave us there we go, 7.54 billion humans. Yeah, there's a lot of us. And so think how many, if there's 7.54 billion humans, think how much fish we need in the sea to sustain that biosystem. And the more, and not just because of the fish that we eat, but what about the fish that the systems that eat the plankton and that then get eaten by the other mammals, which we then rely on for these systems that are in our food chain. And so stuff like this is critical. And that's just talking about the food chain and the natural science side of it, which I am not an expert in, but have done enough research for a project like this with kids. They come to me with all this amazing stuff when we do this project. I love it. But the energy systems work in the same way. How do we take this stuff and turn it into an energy? Now, let me explore with you how that works. I'm going to do this in fact, let's keep it in this little house. I am going to put a little light in this man's house. And we're going to build it on the side. Let's build it in his roof. There. I am going to put a redstone lamp inside this little guy's house. And then from that redstone lamp, I am going to put a redstone. Now remember, we've done this before. I'm going to put a little redstone contraption that allows me to bring redstone downstairs using torches. We've already done this in our redstone stream. And so what we need to do is that one. I'm going to get ourselves some redstone as well. And that means that that's switched on. And then we have to do... no, that's not right. It has to be... that one. Let me just double check this. If I now add one of these, I'm just double checking because when I work from the bottom it's easier. That doesn't work. It's the opposite way around, so that has to go to there and then, right, okay, I know what I've done. I've done it the opposite way around. I don't want that. I want that, then that. And actually I don't, yeah, I do need that there. Wow, I get confused. I don't need that there. That's what it is. I need that one and I need that one. Which means if I now add a redstone to here and a lever, that's wrong again. That needs to be there. That's it. And have that one on that side. There we are. Got it. Right, okay, let's put a lever there and then see if we can swap that out. Yeah, light on, lever, light off. Light on, lever, light off. And then we can just shut that. Let's get this as if it's in a little window. There we are. Let's make this neat, like all the other things that we enjoy doing about Minecraft. That's not going to be quite as neat as I want it to be, so I'll fix that in just a second. Let's do that. And then let's get ourselves a slabs. I just want to hide this for a second so that when we look in the window we see the light, not when we look at the roof. There we go. That's not bad. That'll do. And it's relatively hidden because what I'll then do is I'll hide this later, but I'm going to hide this later so we can just show you what this looks like. And then I'm going to extend the land because I want to extend the fence because I now need my redstone to run to my compost heap. So I'm just going to extend the fence here so we don't get any interruptions. And then we're just going to... There we are. Okay. And then it's an excellent job, right? I love it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a compost heap, just like we did last time, and we're going to put it over here next to our farm. So he just needs to, technically if I do that, he'll go over and he'll start dropping it in there instead. There you go, he dropped some stuff. Oh, he can't get to it, that was what the little anger thing was. Okay mate, you can just, whoops, you can get there. So that links to our farm, so he can go back and forward and do that. He's not going to, we're going to do it. Actually, he can jump in there if that's the case. Look at that, that cat just went right over there. Hey little guy. Go, you know you want out, go. Cats, honestly, if that was a dog, it would have been straight out there and away. Get out, cats. Who'd keep them? Right, so what we're now going to do is we're going to get rid of this and I'm going to get my redstone instead, and I'm going to show you a little trick over here before we come back to our original piece. Now, like the cauldron, remember we showed you the cauldron yesterday, I'm just going to remind you of what this does. Whoops. Except I think compost heaps work better than cauldrons, but if we do this and we run redstone to a lamp, all right, now nothing's going to happen when I do this because I want to show you why one particular element is important. But if we put a lamp there and a lamp there, nothing happens. If I fill that one with water and I fill the other one with ferns, so this one with water, nothing happens. And if I fill this one with ferns, nothing happens. But what if I was to take, let me just get rid of that and let me get rid of that, and then remove this and then put a redstone comparator. Now remember, a redstone comparator creates, it detects a change in the condition of this block and then creates a redstone current equal to the power of that change. So I'm going to go for water again. I should have just kept that there, but that's okay. Let's do that. So I'm going to go water, and when I fill that up, the light comes on, and it's because this has said, right, this is full. If you imagine, this is now no longer a cauldron, it's just a unit of measurement. It's a battery, it's full, and therefore we can have this. And with this, we can fill that up. I'm just going to fill it to the top. We have a light. So we can use both of these to measure a type of energy or a range of energy. Let's move this, and you can see there that this is puffing dust. This one's red and puffing dust. This one there just puffed a bit of dust, but this one's dead, which means this is the maximum that my cauldron can go, is 4. And this is why I think it's better. Our water bottle will fill it slower, well, yes, exactly. So thank you, Jake. If I get a, which one would that be? Lingering water bottle? Glass bottle? Water bottle. There we are. So let's just see if that, and I also need to get rid of it and put it down. A water bottle. There we go. That fills it up slightly. I should have done that for, I didn't know that actually. Thanks, Jake. I should have done that for our experiment before with hydropower. But you get the idea. So with a water bottle, we can fill it up slowly, and we can see a little again, and third time we got it. All right. With this one, however, I want to just run the redstone until I can see, there we are, there's the dead one. So this one you can see is slightly red and it's puffing little bits of dust. This one, dead, which means that's how far we can measure the energy in a biomass plant. Maybe it's because it takes more biomass. Maybe hydropower is more effective. I don't know. But if we get rid of it, you'll see that it's suddenly stopped, and we'd have to fill it up again. So let's fill it up again. Let's go and get ourselves, what did we say, worked ferns. Doesn't really matter, but we'll get a large fern, and we'll try a large fern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we are. Boom. And we got it. And so now what we can do is we can create a biomass power system that says, as this gets filled up, we create a more effective electricity system for our house. So this could just treat it like a battery. Just treat it like a battery that's filled with biomass, or fueled by biomass. Now, there's an important element that comes from this. Let's just fill this up. So right now, let's just go time set. So we're going to make it nighttime, and I'm going to go into this guy's house and get rid of the lamp. Here we are. So his house is in darkness, and that light is currently on. Why is that light on? Oh, I know why. Because we need to reverse the signal. That's, at the moment we're running it to a positive signal. There we are. So we would just have to have like a little station that reversed the signal. And all I did there was, if a negative signal is running in, we change it to positive in order to go out, because then we get negative, positive, negative lamp. So you can see that this little guy's house is in complete darkness. We're going to give him a nice bay window. So let me just go and get my bay window. Here we are. And then I'll right click on the comparator. Get out of here. Is that how that works? No way. Jake. No, that doesn't appear to work. No. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay. I was like, that's an easy solution, but it's not. So that's okay. That's all right. That was a valiant effort indeed. Let's do that, and then just go back to... There we are. I didn't think that worked. I was like, that's amazing. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to fill it. I'm not sure what that does, Jake. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what it does, because I mean, we could go online and we could find out exactly what a comparator does. All I know is how I've used them to create the systems that I have. You know what? Just because I'm really not happy with this garden, and I'm a bit like that when it comes to this stuff. There we go. It's not that I'm greedy and I want more land. It's not that at all. It's just... There we are. I'm not sure what that does. There we go. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up. So let's get ourselves a fern, as we were going to do. There we go. And then we'll just fill it up. Now keep an eye on this guy's house. Fill, 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 fill. Let's see where it is. Fill, 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 fill. Almost there. And when we are filled up, he gets lights. Oh, he's gone to bed. Hey, little guy. He went to bed and I put the lights on. Yep. He was self-isolating and I just ruined it for him. Look at him. He's now just staring at the ceiling. That feels like me sometimes. Okay, so, and then when we get rid of that, if we run out of biofuel, his lights go out. We'll do that again. Whoops. So what we're really able to do is we're able to teach at this stage how our bio waste, because when the kids are playing in normal ordinary games, let's just go time set 1. When we're playing in ordinary games, you'd be amazed what the kids end up with. So for example, they don't really need this part of the tree, but very often they'll go, they do need this part. So they're like, oh, I'm away to get some trees. And what they'll do is they'll do, let me just clear my inventory. And then I'm going to do game mode 0. And say we're doing a sustainable forestry piece. So what they'll do is they'll chop down this tree and they'll collect that piece and then they'll chop this down. And then what happens is, once they've chopped this tree away, and I can show you this actually speeded up, which I'll do in a second. That tree over time will disappear. Whoops. That waste material up there will just eventually dissipate because it's not got a log and it just one at a time, it just disappears. Let me go and show you that in an isolated space. There's, let's pick an isolated tree. There's one there, right, we'll just pick that. So let me go into settings and we'll go down to tick speed 2000. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just get rid of the logs. So I'm going to log, and as long as there's a log in there, and then we're going to get rid of this one, which I think is the last one, and it disappeared. And all they really get out of it is some sticks and an apple. We can do the same over here. Get rid of that one, and the tree disappears. And so I encourage the kids, I say to them, actually don't do that. What I want you to do is to strip the tree down first. You're going to strip away the branches. So you're going to get rid of this manually and you're going to collect it. So again, in game mode 0, they would get rid of this. Oh, hang on, it doesn't work. Why doesn't that work anymore? Am I doing that wrong? Am I getting, oh, there we are. A comparator takes an analog signal and converts it to digital on-off state. Just, thanks, Chipster, for chipping in. Do you see what I did there? Shears. I don't know what that means, but I would love to experiment more with that. Oh, that's because I'm in the wrong game mode. Let's go into game mode 1 and give myself some shears. Is that how that works? You used to be able to just chop it. I used to be able to collect that stuff and then use it in my... No, shears doesn't work either. Oh, that's because I'm in... Oh, shears works. Yay. Okay. I love that. See, I love learning. This is live streaming is good for me too because I learn stuff that I didn't know previously. There we go. So then we can collect it. And then it's that stuff there that we can go garden shears, of course. Shears can also be used incidentally for taking the wool from sheep. Luckily there isn't one around. Probably saw me with shears and thought I'm out of here. So if we can do that, we can then head back. Let me just game mode 1 this for quickness. But we can head back to our village and we can put this in here. There we are. He's out of his bed because it's daytime. That's brilliant. If you make it nighttime, they all just go to bed. I think that's great. He's like, oh, yeah, you could take that and you could go use it on the farm or you could leave it to get electricity. It's up to you. It's a choice. And so I think, I mean, I'm just going to hide that. Boop, 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 boop. We would obviously have the redstone hidden properly underground. And then as far as that was concerned, that would be a nice house with a biomass generator. But here's another thing. What if we were to, and I made one of these earlier because I was testing this theory earlier. So I'm going to go into the world that I'm now going to be creating a wind world in. There it is. But what we've now done is, I'm just going to empty this one, and empty this one. As with all of these things, I've added it to a AND gate. I've made a simple AND gate. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to fill this up. Let's go get ourselves some ferns. Doesn't really matter which we use. And then what I'm going to say is, because this is an AND gate, we might have enough here, but the light still isn't on. And we might have enough here, but the light isn't on. It's not until we have enough in here that the light goes on. And that's because we created it with an AND gate. Now what this could be is we happen to have those side by side, but what if they were generators? What if these were grid generators? What if we could only power a city if this generator, that generator, and that generator had enough energy? And that energy had to be fed by biomass. And that biomass was being fed by a forestry campaign that we were doing in a class. And that forestry campaign was split into 3 separate companies that had to do their bit for biomass energy consumption and so on. But it had to be done sustainably. And so in order for them to do that, they would have to collect the saplings. Every time they chopped the trees down, they'd have to collect the saplings and replant them. And so we would have a forestry crop that allowed us to maintain our power of the city, an entire city, but was also done using forestry. So let's go using like a forestry model, a biomass model. So let's go to, where is it? Immersive education. I know, right? I think learning like a boss is like an AND gate. Let me guess. Absolutely. AND gates are super, super, super important. So imagine that this city could only function if it was gridded. The city was in thirds. Because that's what happens. I mean, cities aren't like running on one plug. They're running on grid systems that are then powered by different generation sites. And so what we would have is we would have a generation site over here. And then we would have a generation site maybe over by the museum. And then we'd have a third generation site over by the the agrodome. Let me have a look. Question above. I don't see it, Barry, or do I? Oh, so is there a way? I see it. Barry Mock is asking, is there a way of modelling or storing energy like a battery? I realise the hydro dam does this. Yeah, there was a mod that we made a while ago, and in fact a colleague of mine, Dragnos, he made a mod where he literally had batteries that you could charge using electricity. But these are mods, like complex kind of coded mods that you have to then bring into the game and use separately. The only way I would look at that as a battery would be the compost heap. Forget that it's a compost heap. Forget that the fuel in it is branches or ferns. Let's just go get a compost heap. I would just say this is your battery. You could even, I'm going to be doing a stream later in the month that shows you how to change what this looks like, and you can change what this looks like so it's got a little Duracell, other battery makes are available, but you could make it look like a little battery, for example. And then you could make it that this is just charge, so a fern could be battery charge or acid or whatever it is that you want to call it. And then what we can do is we can put that in. And then that becomes, with a comparator attached, of course, which we've just done, that could be it. So again, it goes back to that modeling thing. You know, when a teacher says to me, yeah, but you don't have batteries in Minecraft. I'm like, no, but we can make them. We can model them, and we can teach children the concepts of what it is we're trying to learn. And so here's the thing. Think about that from a kid's learning perspective. When the kids go to do the exams and they're like, you know, they go to do a physics exam, and that physics exam question is, explain how a battery works. Those kids are going to go, it's like a comparator with like ferns in it. So it needs a positive charge and we can work it out from there. And it gives them concepts. I know it's not exactly how a battery works, but it gives them the concepts. It gives them something to anchor their thoughts to and their thinking processes to, because they're like, I did this. I remember we had to fill it up. It had to have a full charge in order for it to be able to light that lamp. This is how a battery works. And so that gives us the idea. Can the filling of a composter be automated? Yes. So let's do that. Stefan, Paul, if you're still watching, help me out here. But what I'm going to do is, before we go into code, I am going to get remember we did this with a hopper. Remember we did this with I showed you the water that got rid of all the crops and it all went into the hoppers, into the chest in the other stream. It was when we did the mechanics stream. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a hopper. And then we're going to put the hopper onto the side, hold shift, and that hopper is now going to fill. So watch this. If I now let me get some ferns. If I either put them directly in the hopper, well, that didn't work. Dun, dun, dun. Why is that? What if I just drop them in? That's not working. So that's interesting. Let me try another hopper. Maybe it doesn't work. Because what should be happening now is, oh, there we go, it's working. So it only drops down. There's no hole in the side, which is really interesting because there's no hole in the side with chests. Use a dispenser and fill it with cake, then use a lever to power it. Why would you fill it with cake, then use a lever to power it? Okay, so we're going to go for learning like a boss's way, and you get a dispenser. I can't work out why cake would work, but I'm going to fill it with cake. And then what are we going to do? Use a dispenser, then fill it with cake, then use a lever to power it. So I'm going to build this over here separately. Dispenser, cake, community learning together. Oh yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know why cake matters. But hey, listen, cake does actually matter though in life in general. So what do you want me to do with this? So what does this do? What do you want me to do with this learning like a boss? What do we do next? Bearing in mind learning like a boss is in 5th grade, so he's helping us out with this to try and go through the thinking. What do we do now? Do we then dispense that into... So are you telling me that cake works? I have to get rid of that for a moment. I just want to test if cake works. Cake works. I see what you're saying. Right, okay. I see. So then what we would do is, and does that mean if we take the dispenser, let me just put a standard, we'll do a gold block there, just a glow block, sorry, and then put cake in it. And then put a lever on the side. We're just experimenting. I'm enjoying this. And then, no, it shoots over. Like waste food. But eggs didn't work. I think there's a flaw in that because eggs didn't work. I'm going to remove that. Okay, let's get rid of... Why didn't agent die there? Remove at... Capital C didn't work for some reason. Okay, put the composter in front of the dispenser. Okay, so let's try that again. Oops, remember it has to be the way we're orientating, so that's it there. Then fill it with cake. Right, let's see if this works. Nope, the cake's just getting thrown into it. Dun, dun, dun. So what we would need is, it's not a dispenser. Remember we did the difference between them? There was one dispenses and one drops. Let's see if a dropper works. And then fill it with cake. No. No, that's not going to work. The only thing we could do is have it drop into a hopper. But I think we're getting somewhere with the hopper. I think we're definitely getting somewhere with the hopper. So the hopper was on top, and then we could just fill the hopper with cake. Or leaves, or whatever. And that gives us it. So then that takes me to, let's go to a different world that I've built, because I don't want to have to build all of this again. So you're trying it in Java and it worked in Java. Look at that. Okay. So there's something to be aware of. Not everything works in all worlds. Now, where is it that I'm looking? There's one particular world that I'm looking for, and it's phygital machines. There we are. And if we head back over to here, we could have, let me just get rid of that. And let me get rid of, let me just put a comparator. Oh, I've done it again. I keep doing that. See, this is why I keep pressing the C key by accident, because it's between the space bar and the D. And it's a pain, actually. I think that the code should be somewhere else, which is my feedback to Microsoft, or has been my feedback to Microsoft. And I can always, I know I can do it personally, I know I can go into settings and move it, but I just think it's in an odd place. So I am going to take just a bunch of this. Let's just do that. Then I'm going to take a comparator. There we go. And we're just going to put that there. Then I'm going to get some redstone. And then I'm going to get a lamp. Okay. And that bottom one there is just going to be a composter, or in our case, a battery. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to fill this up with that, and I'm going to tell it to go. And that's going to go along there, and it's going to go in, and it's going to turn the light on. Because what it's doing is, there we are. And in fact, let's just do that as far along as we're able to, which is there. Let's try that again. Let's get rid of that. And it's off. There we are. What's in there? Still 15 left in there. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's just make sure there's only 7 in there. So let's just put that back in and go. And that's going to go along. It's going to go into there, and it's going to fill up. And we see the power getting more and more powerful. There's another one, another one, another one. Oh, we ran out of power. 22 was not enough. And because it's still waiting for a signal, so that there's a slight issue. There we go, I need to get rid of that. So I wonder how many we need. That's actually a really good experiment. 22 wasn't enough. So what I'll do is I'll put in some, let's just get a bunch of that, and let's see how much of that gets taken out. That's just going to keep emptying. I know what that does. So that's okay. That's going to keep emptying. And when it gets down to 0, it's that we need to look at 30. So it took 34 to power that up. To power that battery up. What we could then do is we could have a lever on the back of this, which could then be, I kind of want it to be automated. There we are. Because it's supposed to stop when it delivers. But anyway, and then it goes back and we can have the forestry people filling it up, and then they do it again and they do it again, they do it again. It just doesn't work with hoppers. It seems to think that as long as it's full, right, it's when it's empty. So no, that doesn't work. Barry, you've given me a good challenge. Or 3 to 4 cakes, right? Yeah, so it depends. Because it went from 64. Oh, and this time it didn't take nearly as many. That's interesting. Why was that? And why is that not working now? That's interesting. Yeah, a few issues there I would need to work through, but automation of it is automation of it's interesting. I wonder how you get it out automatically. I mean, we're just generating power, but I wonder how you get the. Let me just go into there. There's something about the way I've got that set up, because you'll notice that this has gone back because it's recognized through this comparator that. So this comparator here tells this and therefore this to stop working or stop working in this case. If I empty it, it comes out because that comparator changes the signal. So again, not really understanding what comparators do is a flaw in my thinking. Fascinating. I'm not sure if it's broken. Automation. I'm going to look that up. I'm going to look up and see, and Barry, you do the same. Let's see if we can automate. For next time we meet, which will be in 5 hours' time, let's see if we can successfully automate the filling up of a composter. And then, so here's the thing, we could use coding to have a regular need for it. So let's see how that would work. If we open up coding and we start a new project and we do something like, what we're going to call this, biomass. We could have a forever loop and we'll do our randoms with maths again. So let's get a pick random from, and we could have our blocks fill with air. I'm also going to get a piece of time in there. So I'm going to do, there we are, pause for, pick a time between 0 and, well, let's just pick a time between 1 and 30 seconds. And then we are going to fill with air from, and let's just do this experimentally over here. So I'm just going to get this piece here. Let's just put it there so we know which one it is. My trusty whiteboard. Let's just bring back, oh, in this world we don't have coordinates. Look at that. Best practice, everyone. Excellent. Let's do that, Jake. So we're going to do 100, 134, 121. I think the automation thing that I've built there, I mean, we know it works because I showed it in another stream earlier in the week. So we know this works for automating into hoppers, which then send to a chest. What we don't have is a way of, because it's two comparators. I think the problem is we've got two comparators doing two separate things. And so that's the issue, is how do we tell it to send the mic, because watch what happens when the minecart goes along. Although assuming it's got nothing in it, it may just, yeah, it just sits, and it shouldn't. It should automatically recognize that it's empty and go back, and it's not doing that, even though it does it when there's not a compost heap below it. So did I get that? It was just 21, not 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 4, 21. Excellent, right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a composter there, and I'm going to have this and a lamp. It doesn't really matter if it's full width. And then I'm going to wait again, so I'm just going to copy and paste that, and then I'm going, whoops, I'm going to copy and paste that, and I'm going to see if I can composter. No, we can have a comparator, but we can't have a composter. So you couldn't even code this because composter's not in the code. That's interesting. Everything else is. I bet you jukeboxes aren't. Oh yeah, jukebox is. Okay, another piece of feedback for the Microsoft team is that this is not. What's that? Cocoa. Corals are there, but no composter. So no, we couldn't even use code for that because we'd have to have a composter. Oh no, we could use clone. Hang on. We could use clone. This is just a bit more complicated, but what we could do is we could have a clone that just sits next to it. So let me see what that block is. So that's 98 rather than 100. Okay. So let's just put that in there. So we're going to have, oops, I've also made a mistake here. And before I do anything, I need to do world and world. Remember, that's really important. Otherwise, it's relative to me, and that just doesn't make any sense. Clone from, and clone into. And actually, this is just going to be 100, 134, 21. 100, 134, 21, because we're just asking it to replace air at one location, so we just repeat the location. And then clone from 98, 134, 21 to 98, 134, 21 into 100, 134, 21. So let's try that. This is just basically, did I put that in a forever loop? Yeah. And I've got it the wrong way round. I don't need to wait for 30 seconds. I need to fill it so it disappears, then pause so that it does something randomly, then clone it back in, and then randomly again. So let's try there. That should disappear. Right. So we don't have a battery, and we don't know when we're going to get one. And there should be anything between a 1 millisecond. I know it's good, right? Barimok loves that we're doing this in real time. There we go. So then it's back. And when it's back, we could have sitting above it. So let's see if this works. Oops, I just got rid of that. I didn't mean to, but the forever loop's still running. Sitting above it, I'm going to have to be, in fact, let me just stop the code just now. I'll just pull this out. This may or may not work. But if it does, be a miracle. And I will be the Minecraft king. Okay, we have a hopper sitting automatically above it. And then with that hopper, we would have a the setup we have over there. But for the moment, I'm just going to fill that hopper with this. And it's not going anywhere. It will not go anywhere. Just imagine we have a system that fills up. So I'm just going to do, I think there's only 5 in there anyway. Yeah, so 64 in there, 64, 64, 64, 64. Okay, and we can have the kids filling that up. Welcome Carter Snipes, thanks for the follow, indeed. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to run the code, which says initially we're going to make it empty, and then let's see what happens when the code runs that makes the battery appear intermittently, because we don't know. Oh yeah, we can use cake to make it faster. That's okay though. I want to see how branches do, because remember I know cake is, we shouldn't really be encouraging food waste, right? Or maybe we should. Maybe this is exactly what we should be doing with. All I'm saying is, who doesn't finish their cake? There we go. Aha, and it's working. And it's going to get there. So now we have a light, and that's going to keep working until at some point, randomly, we're going to have the battery power down. There we go. And we can have another hopper to collect that somewhere. And there we go. Suddenly we've got, so we've created random energy, a random energy system. I mean, I think we're onto something. I don't know quite what, but oh, it's disappeared. So we didn't get much then. So that's good, right? Oh, and that's gone off again. And then it's off for a long time. And so what we could do, Baramok, is to prove the concept of having enough of this stuff. I'm going to copy all of this. No, all of it. Oh, it's not going to let me. So let's just... There. We're not allowed 2 forever loops though, are we? I'm going to try this. So I'm going to do 102, 102. That's going to remain the same, but that's going to be 102. That's all we need to do. We can't have 2 forever loops though, can we? Yeah, and so you just have to keep it fueled. And here's the great thing about that, Baramok, is if you've only got a set amount of bio, oh, that worked. But I think it's running the second one only because the first one's not doing anything. I didn't think you could have 2 forever loops. Oh no, it does. You can have multiple forever loops. I didn't think you did. Oh my God, this changes one lesson in particular for me. There's one lesson in particular that I had tried and hadn't managed to work. So let's do this again. So, that is fantastic news. That is absolutely fantastic. That has got me thinking, really got me thinking. What a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant discovery. So anyway, I'm not going to get carried away with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Minecraft world. Oops. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do, let's just ignore that. Let's just put grass there. And then I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to create an AND gate. Don't you roll your eyes at me, Jake. I love an AND gate. AND gates are critical to... And what we're going to do is we're just going to make this shorter just to prove, because I think we're going to still end up with problems. And then we're going to do stone. I like to make my AND gates consistent and just make them look as if they've got... Where is stone? Why would basic stone be down there? But anyway. Then we're going to get our redstone torches. I'll keep doing that. And then our redstone redstone. Sorry, this just takes a little time, but we're just building a redstone AND gate. Because what we're trying to do is figure out if we can, how much biomass power using code that we need, random code, in order to power a small building. So the building is at the end of this strip. I'm just going to put it up higher so we can see if the bulb. I'm wondering why it's on though. I don't understand why it's switched on, so I'm already going to have to look at that because look, it's already on. Oh, and that's because they're all off. Therefore on. So why are those ones off? Oh, I know why. It's because I haven't done that or that or that. There we are. Right, I had to. You have to remember the redstone on top. Right, and so now what I'm going to do is I just need to leave that there, and then I need a series of hoppers. Oops, that are filled up to the brim. I'm only just putting the bottom one there so that I can get the top one on. Remember, you have to hold shift. And then I'm going to go and get myself leaves. And actually we'll use cake. And I'm going to get as much cake as we possibly can. Let's just fill this one with cake first. And actually you could do an experiment here to find out which is more consistent, leaves or cake, or so I'll leave this one filled with leaves, but I am going to get more cake for the others. Actually no, for consistency we'll fill them all with cake. That's what we'll do. Oops. Actually, yeah. To do that quickly, I'm just holding the shift key and pressing, and it automatically goes in. And then we just need 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we are. Right. Then what I'm going to do is go into my code, and I'm going to hook that in. And then I'm going to repeat it. We said there was, how many of those did I do? 5. So this is 104, 104, 104. And then we're going to repeat it again. So we'll just get rid of that and that. This is a hell of a machine. Six. 106. 106. Did I forget one? I'll have another look in a second, and then let's just get the last one in here, which I think is 108. 108. 108. Okay. I don't want to do this yet, so I'm just going to unclip them and put them below, because I just want to make sure that I have filled them with cake. That one's got cake, that one's got cake, that one's got cake, that one's got cake, that one's got cake. Right, okay, they have. Right, okay. And let me just double check, this is definitely 108. Yeah, 108. Okay, so here we goes. Here we go. Press that and we'll hook all of these in. So what we've done is we've created random random power generation. And we should, there we go, there's two. Oh. Ah, the fourth one is failing us. And then the other ones will disappear, of course, because there's a random timer on this. Oh, the third one's gone. The fifth one, just as the fourth one appeared. We're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch this until we get battery power and see if our AND gate ever actually works. Oh man, come on. This is our chance. Number two. It's an washing machine, right? I don't know what it's actually proving, other than if we were looking at power outages and power, brownouts. I suppose what I was trying to do was show that if you had enough of these things, if you had enough, like, because let's face it, if we had, I mean, I've only got 5, but what if you had 50 of these and they all led, you had 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and they all fed into a city? Because these would be your generators. These would be your grid generators working at different capacities. That's all this is the capacity for biomass. But then you would need lots and lots and lots. You could use an AND OR gate. The problem with an AND OR gate is, will you not always end up with a? Okay, I suppose rather than an, because what I'm trying to show in this is how much you would need. Oh, look! Boom! Yes, we got it briefly. People had light for a few seconds, and the monsters went away. And so, what? At least we did it. I suppose with an AND gate, what I'm showing is how much biomass would you need, assuming that these factories are not all. Let's imagine each one of these is a factory, and it's not all producing at exactly the same time. How many of this would you need, and how much cake did we put in there in order for this to be able to work consistently? And therefore, how hard would you have to work a system? How many trees would you chop down? How much food waste would you need? Because that's what we're really calculating here, is what's the effort of, what's the amount of biomass, look, we're getting electricity, that we need in order for this to work, and where do we get that from, and how much of it? Do we need to chop down forests the size of London to be able to use biomass? Because that's the big argument, isn't it? When people are making this argument politically, they say, that's ridiculous. You would need more biomass than you ever needed coal. You would need, the sheer tonnage of biomass is greater than the cost of digging coal out of the ground. And this is the big political factor. If it's going to take us 40,000 cakes, but it's only going to take us 20,000 blocks of coal, then, because we're going to look at fossil fuel models as well when we're finished renewables, then we can start to make big cost comparisons in Minecraft and have our kids go, nah, this isn't even reasonable. What's the point? If we used an AND OR gate, it could be, how many systems do we need up and running in order to be able to maintain a consistent system? And then the question would be, if all of them went down at once, we end up with a power outage. So what I don't know is how to make an OR gate. Anybody want to help me with that? I'm going to look on my phone for a moment, and I think we should repeat this, but with an OR gate, and I'm going to check it out. And by the way, Barry, I've got your questions. I am working on it. I know what to do, but it's quite difficult to know what's like the where you've installed things and stuff like that. So what we might actually do is have a Skype over that, or a Teams call or something like that. Let me have a look. So I'm going to Google. Other search engines are available. I love that this is just working away though. I think an AND gate, you're right, is one model. An AND gate is a way of showing it, but an OR gate would be way better. Minecraft OR gate. Okay, I'm going to go and try and build the OR gate. Redstone engineers. I just want to see what an OR gate looks like. Wow, these people know how to complicate this, right? There's a bunch of people on here and they're just like, whew, this is crazy. I'm way behind all of this, which is okay. Yeah, agree to cookies. Everyone wants cookies. Aha, right, I found a really nice diagram of input and the OR gate. And therefore, that looks like NOT gate, an AND gate, an OR gate. So an OR gate looks like, let me just see if we can build this separately and then we can go back and model it. So an OR gate looks like, according to this, it has a piece of redstone coming from here. I'm just going to put my light at the end. I love that that's still going. And we're still maybe getting light up from that. Okay, and then we're going to have, so this is our OR here. Okay, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to try it with 2 levers just to see. Because according to this, if I do that, right. So what I probably just need is to take the levers off and put that in there and then have a redstone torch, right? No, because they're both off. If one is on, it's off. So that's wrong. Except if I did because all I would need to do is reverse the signal for that. There we are. So if I reverse the signal, and this is just me thinking out loud now because the diagram didn't really help, and then I had that there. So that's off if they're both on. It's off if any of them are on, so that doesn't make sense. And it's on if they're both off. So that I think I've just created I've created another AND gate. No, I've created an OR gate. Right, maybe that's it. Maybe I just ignore that block in the middle. Replace stone with redstone dust. Chipster, thank you. Chipster just watching quietly there. Thinking, what's this guy doing? Yeah, but if I do that, if I put them both on, is that how an OR gate works? It's not. So I'm missing something. What am I missing? What am I missing to make an OR gate? I'm looking at the diagram. I tell you what, let me build it exactly as I see it on this diagram. Because once we've worked it... Was it? Is that an OR gate? I didn't think that was. According to this, the OR gate... Let me build what I can see as a... Well, that's an XOR that I'm looking at. The gate is really simple. Just two switches attached to a block with redstone coming out of it. So that was it, right? I got it. One or both equals 1. Right, okay. So that was it. And so if I take that over to this model and get rid of all this nonsense for a moment, what I really want... I just got rid of my model there. Is and then my light, right? And that's, yeah, so if any one of them is on or both. Okay, so that should then lead to, so that should be a lot easier. Surely I just get rid of all of this then. Have it linked to a light that's much closer. Just going to get rid of all of this. I should have actually built this separately, but and then have a light at the end. And so as long as one of them is on, we're doing okay. It's when we lose them, oops. It's when we lose them all that the light goes off. Nope, that's not right. And the reason for that is because I haven't done this right. We still need that, I think. And we still need that. No. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, I know what I did. It was me being an idiot. Remember, we just need the torches on the other side. So that torch needs to go there, there. Not levers, torches. There we are. Torch, 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 torch. And then there, 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 there. And then if I just pull these out, so for the moment I just want to test what it looks like when it's not done. Whew, right, okay. My head's exploding. What's going on? So how can we have power? I know why. It's because we need the lamp, the redstone. We need to reverse the signal again, that's all. Redstone, lamp, redstone, block of grass, torch. Right, so there does need to be the bit at the end that does that. So now, according to our model, if any one of these is powered, and as long as any one of these is powered, we will have power to... So these are separate factories, all operating across the UK. And as long as one of those factories is feeding our power system, we will get power. And we can have the kids own a factory each. Genius. Right, we seem to have enough still going. Yeah, we've got, give or take, roughly the same. Oh, look at that. We can also work out how much power. See, this one's used way less power by about 20 odd blocks. Yeah, or a range. Absolutely, Baramox. So we could say, look, you've got a biomass, you've got wind. I'm going to set up a whole world. In fact, I'm going to make a toy box that does this at the end of these 4 streams, because this afternoon we're going to do solar. At the end of these 4 streams, I'm going to create a toy box that has a small city, a small town or a house in the middle, and then has the 4 factories of energy, of renewable energy. and then has the gates which require us to run it, and then I'll make it available for free. You can all have it. What do you think of that? Right, let's do it. So if any one of these is powered, nah, what have I done? Yeah, we could do with redstone signal and redstone power are two different entities. Yes, I agree, Chipster. So I've done something wrong. Hang on, I've done something wrong. Actually, I don't think I need this. Surely it's just, if I get rid of all of that, this is way easier than... And I need a... It's too far away, isn't it? I think it's too far away. So what I would do is I would just make sure that we had a repeater. I think I well overcomplicated that. You're learning, Baramok. You're learning. Right. So as long as I have... Now, let me just test this theory. Let me just get rid of all of these again. And get rid of that. Right. No light. Let me just clean this up a bit. I've well overcomplicated that. That didn't need to have redstone torches or anything. Wow. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the code again. And this time we have a factory that says if any of these are working, we end up with light. There it is. Yes. We do, Chipster, we do. Thank you so much for your input. There we go. There's 3 running at once. And so, here's the thing. I need this system to bring each of this. So this is, rather than bio, when I'm just thinking how I make this, I need this system to decide that this is the factory, the wind factory, this is the hydro factory, this is the biomass factory, and this is the... and so on. And at night, if we let the night signal go round, we'll lose all power from the solar panels, and so the other factories are the ones that then take the weight. Yeah, let's see if we can get you in and helping with that for sure. It's fantastic, isn't it, Barry? I'm gonna make a toy box that does all of this and shows how we can use biomass and we can use wind, and they all have their own, but we'll grid it. And then we can have electrical engineers that need to go out and check when something's down. We can have students that are specifically designed, like redstone engineers that are like, hang on a minute, because what we can do is we could, if you've got the grid set out, you could have a piece of code that runs in the background that says, choose random location, fill with air. And that would get rid of, that would create a break in the redstone. So then the kids have got to go out and be like, something's wrong with the redstone grid. And they go out and they find out what that is. Just a random air block, just getting rid of the redstone. And you could do that at random times as well. I love this randomized. And we've also got gate logic in there as well to say to the kids, the AND gates, because I'm going to set this up as multiple, in the toy box, I'm going to set this up as multiple biomass, multiple wind farms, multiple, so they'll have AND gates, which will create one stream to the grid, but then we'll have one consistent stream to the grid. But then we'll also have an OR gate that says any one of these can be powering the grid at any one time. I'm keen to get started. If anyone else wants to join me, give me a shout, PM me on either Facebook or Twitter, and we'll see if we can get a bunch of people in helping. Maybe do a Teams call or something, and maybe do it together. I might even stream it. I'll need some time to prepare the toy box, so maybe we'll do it later on this afternoon. But PM me, and we can do that. And I'm thinking ahead, so now I'm distracted because I'm thinking ahead about how this needs to look in terms of a toy box and so on. But once I get it done, we can set that up, and then it'll be a case of then running a piece of code, do it together. Good. I'm going to leave this here because I'm really quite happy with this. I think that what we've certainly shown throughout this stream is we've shown that what does biomass mean? How do we pull biomass from the environment around us, in particular trees and grasses and ferns and things? How do we then use a composter to create a system of biomass energy? How do we then measure that energy with redstone? How do we then use the redstone and AND gates to power a single system? And then how do we use multiple power systems through code to create, and an OR gate to create a single system of power? And now the bigger picture, everyone, and maybe this could be ready by tomorrow for a big stream in the evening, is how do we create a system that allows children to run a biomass factory, a wind farm, a hydro power, electric power station, and a solar panel to then make one single building, or in this case a model city, have consistent electricity. Genius. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Love to you all. It's been a fantastic stream again. I love the input. This is really, really important, not just for me, but for all of us. I've learned so much today. Managing the national grid, using renewables, that's the key. Using renewables. And the concept and the science that comes with that. Brilliant. I will see you guys in a few hours, and if anybody wants to join me, let's just PM me. Thanks very much, Chipster. Thank you so much for coming in and helping out. You genuinely do make a huge difference. See you later. Bye.